for those of us who are not informed, like myself, what's it like playing professional basketball in Japan, and what was your experience?
I mean, I think overall playing overseas, it can be a great experience if you're open minded and you're willing to adapt to a new culture. Because obviously, I think when you look at Japan specifically, like Asia is completely different from the US. I can't really speak for Europe or other countries, but getting over there obviously was a huge culture shock in terms of the food. Um, Traditions, basic traditions, how people operate on a daily basis, religions. So all these different things, you have to understand that you're in a completely different environment than what you've been accustomed to. And I think a lot of players, when they get over there, they're more guarded or closed minded or not really willing to try to understand, who these people are and how their culture is. And so I always told myself, wherever I ended up, I was going to do my best to try to acclimate and ingrain myself in that culture and try to adapt the best way I can. So I would say from that perspective, having that perspective is what I think allowed me to have a great experience off of the court. Japan is one of the most amazing countries that I've been to so far. They have a lot of values and just the way the country, the people are, that I align with and that I truly respect. And so I really valued that experience because it taught me a lot. It helped me grow a lot and adapt new things that I kind of carry over into life today. Basketball wise is a little challenging because you can get put in situations where obviously there's a language barrier, the laws are different. Your teammates, you might not really know how to communicate, or they might just go about things differently. Ownership could be bad, coaching, like all these different kind of factors that you don't really have to deal with when you're playing stateside. So I think from that perspective, it was a huge challenge for me because I played on teams that were lower on the totem pole in the leagues. They weren't as good. They were younger. Ownership didn't really care. Money was coming late, or you could not get paid at all. I had teammates who got sent home early and didn't get the remaining of their contract salary. So dealing with situations like that, and then if you don't have an agent to advocate on your behalf, or they don't really understand how to operate in these countries, that could be another factor that kind of plays a part in it. So I've heard a ton of horror stories, man, like things that you wouldn't believe about players overseas, but it really just goes back to the level that you're playing on. It could be the team that you're playing on, the country that you're playing in. So it's all these different things that can play a part in how your overall experience is in a different country. But I think for me, the 2 years that I did play in Japan was really solid for the most part, aside from basketball wise. I think I definitely value that experience. Truly.
I mean, if there's like one, I know these type of questions are usually cliche, but if there's like one thing that you can take away from your experience in Japan and playing there, either a life lesson or something, maybe there was a moment that taught you something about life that you still hold with you today. What would that one thing be?
I would say that one of the biggest things that I took away from playing in Japan would probably go back to kind of what I said before, like being open to new experiences, like being able to try something that you're not accustomed to doing, that is uncomfortable, putting yourself in situations that are uncomfortable, but having an understanding of like this is going to help me grow or help me in another phase of life. So I would say like embracing discomfort, so to speak, like embracing things that you're not necessarily used to doing. I did that a lot in Japan, as I said before. Like those experiences really helped me grow and kind of mold who I am today. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I take away from playing over there. Trying to think of anything else. Maybe another lesson would be like to stand up for what you believe in. Stand up. Like if you don't speak up for yourself, then no one else is going to kind of advocate for you. Um, and I say that because my second year playing in Japan, try to tried to cut me short of my contract and my salary and send me home early. Um, and I had a dispute with the coaching staff. And even though like my agent at the time was like, just take the flight back home, they'll probably they'll might eventually pay you at some point, blah blah blah. I wasn't trying to leave unless I got that last remaining portion of my salary. So like I didn't rely on my agent. I didn't rely on anybody else to get that money for me. Like I was like, no, I'm gonna get paid before I leave. I'm not gonna wait till I get back home because that's what they promised me. So I think like advocating for yourself and standing on standing on what you believe in, what you're owed, I think was really important. Something that I took away as well, playing over there.